This podcast episode is sponsored by WePrintWraps.com. Less risk, no overhead, wholesale printing. And don't forget to use offer code all wrapped up at checkout and receive 10% off your purchase. Offer ends January 31st, 2018. Today's guest doesn't come from a sign or wrap shop background. He was just asked to help out a friend that bought a digital printer. This opened the doors to an industry that he now wants to pursue. Please welcome Sean Martinez. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to All Wrapped Up Podcast. We'll be interviewing industry-leading wrap companies to share tips, tricks, stories, and more. Start from here. We'll go live talking to Sean Martinez.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, sir.
All right, cool. From Vantage Vinyl Werx over in Texas. What's going on, dude?
Nothing, man. Nothing. Feeling a little under the weather today, but it's all good.
Damn, all my guests have all started the same freaking way. Everybody's sick. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, everybody.
There's something going around, man. And everybody's either got pneumonia or they got the flu, but down here it's all sinus stuff.
Yeah, you don't get the weather that I get here, man. I'm like, today's the first day that it's been over 5 degrees, and it was like 15.
Wow.
It was like 15 this morning, bro. And I was like, damn, I'm ready to put on shorts and a t-shirt. It was
Dude, it got down to 30. It got down to 30 down here, 30. And everybody was dying.
Come on, 30 in Texas is nothing. Please,
dude, that's like Antarctica.
Yeah, yeah. You guys come up here to Mass, it's game over.
Nope, not during the winter.
Oh man. So what's going on? What I know, we'll get into your workflow, but what did you work on over the weekend here?
This weekend, not a whole lot, just a couple of small pieces, like accent pieces, but nothing too big. I got a couple of cars this weekend. No, not this weekend. Next weekend, and got a few color changes coming up, but that's really about it.
Nice. What kind of cars you got lined up for color changes?
I have a Explorer that's coming in. That one's going from white to urban jungle, and it's kind of a funny story because the guy who's bringing it to me, his car was the very first car that I wrapped, and then he wrecked it, and then he got a truck. We were going to wrap that one in the urban jungle, and he had a horse kick his door in.
A horse?
And so
that's like,
a horse, yeah.
That's like that. That's like that commercial. What is it? State Farm, right? Is it State Farm that they'd say we cover everything because we've seen it?
Yeah. Yeah, or Mayhem.
You may, yeah. Oh shit.
So that one got scratched. He ended up getting a Hummer, and it turns out that the people he bought it from ran it without oil, and timing was off, and all this stuff. So he ended up getting rid of everything and just got the Explorer. So we're gonna be doing that.
Is it a new one?
I think it's like a 15.
Okay.
So it's not too old. And then I have that Mustang, that 5.0 that I wrapped last year, and he's coming back. We're gonna tear off the aluminum red, and he's gonna go matte military green.
That's a nice color, though. I know you sent me some pictures of that thing. It looked sick. Such a great color.
It is.
Really
nice.
It
is. I tried to convince him to do something else because there is another Mustang that has it, but he really likes it. In the car, I mean, even though it hasn't changed as far as the color, it still looks completely different because he ended up getting a carbon fiber hood. It's bagged now, so he's done a lot to it. So
nice.
It'll look even cooler this time around.
That's sick. Does he take it to shows and stuff?
Yeah, he goes to all the Cars and Copies, and then there's another shop that they do a lot of work on supercars, and they have a show that they do, I think, once a month. So he goes to that one too, but he goes to as many as he can.
Definitely, that's great promotion for you, for the rap
Yeah,
industry. You know what I mean?
definitely. He hands out a lot of my cards, so that's always a good thing.
That's awesome. And what other cars do you have coming in as well?
I have an old Ranger. It's actually my dad owns a collision center, and he's got a little shop truck that they used to run parts back and forth, and it's a really old Ranger, and the paint's looking nasty and everything, and he just doesn't want to have to deal with painting it because they have so much going on. So we're gonna wrap that one satin pearl white, because
Nice.
he's a big fan of pearl colors. So
Satin pearl white. Are you
that
using?
one I have.
Are you using
Yeah.
3M or Avery?
Avery.
Avery. Cool. I know the matte white for 3M is a really hard install. Got to have like a brand new squeegee because that thing could get dirty real fast.
Yeah. I haven't had any problems with any other 3M colors, but that's good to know.
Yeah, that's a tough color to wrap. Any little nick, scratch, anything with that matte white is it's a hard install. I did one back in the day. It was a well, people call it the two-faced, but I call it the tuxedo, black half white, right down the middle. We did a Mercedes AMG, I think it was AMG 63, something like that. Right down the middle, matte black, matte white, and the white just took forever to install. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do a split color like that. But I can't find anybody who wants to do it.
Yeah, you know what? It's a commitment. Changing the color is one thing, but then when you add like the two-tone like that, split right down the middle, I mean, you can't hide from anywhere. Everybody's going to know that car, which is good and bad, but
yeah.
I really like the one on Instagram, and I believe it's the Lambo with the camo on one side and the map. I follow that guy, dude. Unreal. That looks so sick.
Oh God, yeah. That's an insane wrap. And the guy with the Mustang that I have, he actually wanted to do something like that, and then he backed out of it. I've been trying to get him to do something completely one-off instead of doing just a regular basic color change, but nobody wants to bite the bullet on it.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. Tell me, how'd you get into the vinyl wrap industry? Excuse me.
That's such a long story. Everything that I've done has kind of trickled into something else. I used to ride ATVs, and once I couldn't afford it anymore, I was like 16, 17. I got rid of everything. I got into photography, and that's actually really helped me, because all the cars that I do now, I do my own photos. As soon as the car is done, I do my own stuff. The only thing that I don't do anymore is video, because I've figured out that as far as video goes, it is much easier to just pay somebody to do it than worry about it on my own.
Right.
So, and I used to go out to this track all the time, and I started doing their media. And one day he just came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, I just bought this like $20,000-$30,000 printer, and I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to do anything with it, but we need to redo all the signs around the facility, and eventually I want to start selling stuff." And he was like, I need to, I want to know if you'd be willing to do it. And so I took a pretty big risk, because nothing was really guaranteed, and went ahead and did it. And we had a Roland. It was a print and cut, and I pretty much taught myself how to do everything. I'd call up the supplier every now and then, and they would walk me through like VersaWorks and cut contour.
It's a great program. VersaWorks is a very, very great program for Roland.
Oh yeah, I love it. At that time, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about vinyl. I didn't know anything about color profiles. I knew absolutely nothing. I didn't know anything about laminate. And I didn't even know that there was other manufacturers of vinyl because the only materials that they sent us was rolling stuff.
Right.
I didn't know anything about Avery, didn't know anything about 3M, nothing. And so I tried to make it on my own doing that. And then the guy was like, I want you to wrap my RV and I want you to wrap our water truck. And I was like, well, there's no way in hell, dude. I don't know what I'm doing. The only thing I've ever installed on is just a flat piece of sheet metal. And, and we're out at a motocross track and there's sand everywhere. The little building that I was in, there was sand everywhere. There was sand all up in the printer and the heads. I mean, literally everything. So there was never a clean way to get a good install on signs or anything because you always had sand up and everything.
Right.
And I didn't know how to install properly. I would call people and they're just like, oh yeah, just use soap and water, man, and just get after it. So I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to dry install, and that was just it. Is I didn't know how to dry install. So when I started doing vehicles, the first thing I started doing was roofs, and I was doing it wet. I didn't even know how to do a dry install, so it was taking me forever.
What type of material were you using at that point?
The first material that I started using for that was Arlon. So it was already. Was
it a wrap film or was it like calendared film?
No, it was a wrap film.
Film. What?
I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So
hey, we all been there sometime.
Yeah, and so I told him, I said, well, man, I don't really know what I'm doing as far as wrapping. So not only that, but I was told that we need a laminator if you want to start doing graphics and wraps and stuff. And he refused to buy a laminator because he felt like he already put so much money into the printer, there was no use for it.
Oof.
And so we ended up going without a laminator for a really long time. And eventually we never even got one. And so I asked him, because I found out about the Avery training. And so I brought it up to him and I was like, if you want me to start doing this, it would really be cool to get some training and kind of understand what I'm doing. And he was just like, nah, don't worry about that. Just learn as you go. And I wasn't about to wrap an RV in a water truck, like just off the bat. And I called the guys who supplied us everything we bought the printer from. And they were just like, honestly, man, you're better off just getting out of there. Cause that guy's got his head up his ass.
Yeah.
And
sounds like it.
So
holy shit.
Yeah. So I ended up leaving and, went back to a full-time job. And I really, really missed it. I really missed vinyl and weeding and everything. So I went on a photo shoot and got some money for doing that. Bought a cheap little US Color 30-inch plotter and worked that thing's ass off. We were cutting decals like crazy, and I always wanted to start doing the vehicle wraps. And me and my fiance, she was my girlfriend at the time, but we were pushing out decals like crazy. We made like almost $1,000 in a month just doing decals, like the Instagram names.
There you go.
Just pumping out as many as we could, staying up till like 2 or 3 in the morning doing orders, and ended up using that money to take an Avery class, kind of learn the fundamentals and kind of get an idea of what I was actually supposed to be doing.
Good for you, man. Just
been kind of moving on from there.
Reinvesting in yourself is the best thing you can do.
That's the goal for this year is to
knowing what's out there is knowledge, dude. Seriously, like you saved up cutting little stickers at home to take a class. That's commitment.
Oh yeah, dude, and we've been doing as much as we can because that's the goal for this year is to do more, and that's what I really want is to soak up as much as I can and do as much as I can and get cleaner installs and get better at what I do, because I get better definitely every time I do another car, but I know that I can do more. So that's the goal for this year is to get a little more training in and learn from some others.
Right. And you've been basically since you've been doing the Instagram stuff, you've had the same business name?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, haven't changed it, and that was actually I took that from when I used to shoot motocross all the time. So back then it was Vantage MX, and when I was trying to think of a name, I couldn't. So I was like, no, I'm gonna go ahead and take that.
Yeah,
I'm just
there
gonna
you
roll
go.
it over and stick with it.
Vantage
So
Vinyl. Kind
yep.
of
So
little
stuck.
tongue twister, but it's
Man,
good.
I get so many people. I get so many people that say it wrong. I'm just like, yeah, we'll go with that. People call me. I had one dude text me. He was like, "Is this Vintage Vinyl Werx?" Like, it's
That's
Vantage. Or like when I call up sellers, they can never look me up because they type in Advantage with
advantage.
an A.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm like,
It's
no.
definitely a hard word. Or you can change it to VV Works or something. Make it short.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's so funny. So basically, you worked for a guy that wanted you to do everything wrong. You found a better way of doing it by training yourself to do it the right way. Now you're up to this point. So tell me, like, up until now, what are you doing? You're still working full time, right? And rapping as much as you can at night and during the week. You're still basically building your clientele in your business, right?
Yeah, we haven't. I mean, I haven't been really doing it that long. I started. I took the rap class, the Avery class, June 2016, and we were only doing decals for just a few months prior to that because I had already had everything. I never worked it, and I didn't really put a lot of effort into it. And one day, my fiance was just like, if this is what you want to do, then this is what we're gonna do. And so she really put the pedal to the metal and took over social media, and it really pushed me to get going. So other than that, yeah, I mean, I'm still working full time. I'm rapping on the weekends as often as I can, and then sometimes it has to bleed into the week, and if it does, work my full time job and then go straight to the car and get going.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. Now, talk to me. This is great because this is you're still so fresh. You're still so new to the industry, and I know there's a ton of people out there that are starting to get into the industry and go through those same struggles that you're currently and still going through. How did you like the Avery rap class? Like, talk to me a little bit about your likes and your dislikes for people, because I get people all the time hitting me up on Instagram or Facebook, and they'll say, I'm looking to get into a class, but I don't know what to do, and I'll refer them to
Yeah.
other people in the industry that I've either had as guests that I recommend or what I think will work. I mean, everybody knows I have no training. I'm self-taught. Been doing it,
Mm-hmm.
almost 15 years. And I've kind of figured things out as I went. But with that being said, I still recommend doing training for those
Yeah.
newcomers, because it's there's nothing wrong with spending a few $100s and mastering your craft. Like someone else had said, I don't quote me on it. One of my guests is, you go to college to learn. You go to high school to learn. Why wouldn't you take a class to learn your craft? So,
Right.
it totally makes sense. But either way, tell me what you think you got out of the class, what you learned, what you didn't like, what you liked, just so people know, how the class went from your perspective, being new to the industry.
I really liked it. I thought that it really taught me. It gave me a good starting point because I didn't know how to lay film down. I didn't know how to squeegee right. I mean, I didn't know anything, and I was so nervous going into it because I figured, well, there's probably people that are already doing this. I'm not going to have any idea what the hell I'm doing. But it was a really good starting point. It taught me quite a bit. It's a little tough because there's a lot of people in the classes.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have a question, you might be standing there for a little bit because, if you want to grab Justin, he's going to be helping somebody else or somebody else after that. So that was really about it. Was, if you mess up, you have a question. It's kind of hard to get his attention because there's just so many people. And then, they have the graphics. In our class was a little bit different because they have somebody print the graphics for one of the cars that you do.
Right.
And somebody screwed up on the graphics, and I can't remember exactly what happened. I think they left out like a panel or something. So he didn't really get to show us one of the things that he wanted to show us, but I can't even remember what it was. And, I really wanted to work on a part of the car, but there was a group from the same company, and there was like 3 or 4 of them, and they were all working on the same panel. I was like, well, shit, I wanted to try that, but I'm not going to be able to because, you guys are already on it. But not really a big issue, but it was, I still thought it was a good class. I would have liked to learn a little bit more about like the window perf and laying down windows a little bit more, because you go over it really briefly.
Yeah.
But I don't really do windows. I don't really do a whole lot of window perf. So right now it's not really that big of a deal, but I'd like to in the future start doing a little bit more of it.
Yeah. Window perf is pretty easy, and I mean, I'd probably say it's just as easy as putting on just regular decals. It's just a bigger decal. The only thing is you don't have the technology, the air release. But if it's laminated, you can you're able to pick it back up and stuff. So it's really not that bad. It's tough because when you've got how many people were in the class? Do you remember?
I want to say maybe like 15 or 20 people.
Yeah. It's tough when you got one instructor and 15 people to deal with. It's definitely tough.
Yeah. But it's still cool because you definitely meet a lot of people. You meet guys that have been doing it for a while and already have shops that are established. You got people, like there was one guy who had a shop in California, and he was like, we dip cars, but we get a lot of requests for vinyl. He's like, so that's why I'm here. So it's really cool to kind of see where everybody's coming from and get an idea of what everybody's doing. And it's actually really, I'm actually glad that I went. It was in Arizona, and I flew up there, and I actually met, and I've told you this already, but I met a guy who's here in my hometown, and he has a full out print shop. So they do commercial graphics, they do signs, they do everything. So I've been working really closely with him on a lot of stuff, and we do work for each other and kind of do trade-offs back and forth, work for work. So it's worked out really well. And if I wouldn't have gone to that class, I would have never met the guy.
That's funny. How many miles is he from where you are?
He lives probably, so down here, we don't go by miles, we go by minutes and hours.
Minutes and hours. Yeah, because everything's always a couple hours away, right?
He's probably a good like 10 or 15 minutes away from me.
Oh, that's not that bad.
He's actually, and he's got 2 shops. So he's actually got one shop that has all of his big printing stuff, because he's got a huge flatbed printer.
Okay.
They have like another 2 or 3 printers. They have the laminator, so they do everything. And then he's got his other main shop, which is huge, and they do silk screen, they do screen print, they do sewing, and then that's where he does all his bigger installs.
Nice. So he does a little bit of everything then, huh?
Yeah, they have their hands in just about everything. So it's really cool because I can get a lot of stuff. Like if I want some hats done or some shirts done, I can just tell him to do everything, and I ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah, one-stop shop. That's usually how
Definitely
everything starts. How long has he been doing it? Do you know? Seems like
probably
a while if he's doing embroidery and silk screening.
Yeah, it's his dad's the one who started it, I think, and they do a lot. They got a lot of contracts. They have a lot of local companies under their belt, and it's funny because they actually bought the printer that I used to run.
Huh.
So that was interesting, like going to a shop and I see it there and it's like, hey, I remember this thing, and it was the conditions were so bad where it was and in how we were printing that he had to spend like $10,000 just to get it cleaned and back to how it should be.
Yeah, those heads aren't cheap. You know, usually the heads alone, if you got, you know, usually the new ones have 4, but each head's like $1,000, you know, and then talking about labor, cleaning it, e-coder strip, cleaning that. It's a lot of money to keep up on a printer.
Oh yeah,
and sometimes it's easier to print, you know, outsource it. I know Trish over in Arizona, she's got We Print Wraps. Great company, man. Great company. They're doing a lot of great things. They're offering free shipping with you know, $500 or more, I think it was, that they're advertising. And the quality's unbelievable, dude. You don't have to worry about nothing. If they pumping out quality material on whatever you want, Avery, 3M, all the pricing's online. It's awesome, dude. You can just send the files overnight. They'll get them in the morning, stop printing. Great little wholesale business. So anybody out there that's looking for a wholesale, check out WePrintWraps.com. Definitely, great company.
Yeah, I've looked into them because I did have somebody who inquired about a custom print. But I mean, for me personally, and I know they do great work because I know a lot of people use them, and I've seen a lot of the stuff that they print. But just for me personally, I mean, I have a guy here in town, so I don't have to wait for shipping, and I can just drive to him and pick up whatever I need. So, but I've definitely looked into them. I may use them in the future. It just depends what I got to get done and how busy he is. Because I know there's some times where they're so slammed, he can't do a thing.
Yeah, because I think from Arizona to Texas ain't that far. Probably a couple days. And I think they even have a map, and it tells you in the area that you're in how long the estimated delivery would be. I know East Coast to me is like 5 days. Arizona might only be like 2.
From Arizona.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Definitely not that bad.
Yeah, because I mean, if I drove there, whatever, if I need to go pick something up for them, I'll just drive for the day and go get it.
That's funny. So tell me more about the class. So how long was the class sessions?
The class was, it says 2 days, but it's more so like a day and a half, because it ends, I think it ends on a Sunday. So you leave probably around 4:00, you know, based on the time of wherever the class is being held at. And so, I mean, it's definitely a lot of good time. The first day, you kind of go over some little things.
Classroom stuff first?
Yeah, you go through a presentation, kind of learn a little bit about different films, different printers, laminators, cutters. And then after that, you kind of jump right into install. He goes over a little bit on Windows. Goes over the wall wraps, which is really cool. And then after that, he takes you straight to, you know, where we were at. We had kind of the garage warehouse area. So we went straight back there out of the classroom and started looking at the car and how to clean it and how to do everything, and going through pretty much all the steps. And then the rest of that day is pretty much just all hands on. Learning how to cut on the car without cutting the paint, using a little bit of knifeless, but we didn't really use a whole lot because he wanted us to kind of practice cutting on the car itself.
Yeah.
And I tried to use knifeless on a mirror, and I asked him, I was like, hey, how should I do this? Should I use knifeless? And he just looked at me. He was like, fucking laser eyes, bro.
Laser eyes. Okay. That's awesome.
And he just, and that's how he looked at me. He just had like these laser eyes just fixated on me. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So I cut that really carefully. And then the second day is pretty much the same thing. Just going over a little more install, tucking up underneath the wheel wells, wrapping the shark fins up, the antennas up top, and cutting around it. And then, you know, if your print is messed up, how to kind of fix it so that way everything matches. Because I think the print that we had, the trunk didn't match up with the rear quarter panel.
Yeah.
So he kind of taught us how to kind of
Blend
just
it.
go off the fly and blend it in. And then we spent a little bit more time in the classroom, like going over pricing and stuff like that, and kind of how to make money. That was short. That was like 10 or 15 minutes. I think I went to the bathroom really quick, and by the time I got back, we were already pretty much almost done.
I really wish they would talk more about pricing. I think pricing is a very big topic that's just kind of overlooked a little bit. It's kind of like, okay, maybe it could be this much per square foot, that much per square foot, and call it a day. And it's just, I just think people just put it to the wayside. I think, just as much as you learn putting the stuff on, I think you really need to know the proper way to sell it and how much it should be, of a value to what you're giving your customer. And I wish that part was a little bit longer.
Yeah, it was definitely, that portion was really quick, and that was kind of the end of it. And I know that each class isn't the same. I know that each class is definitely completely different. So, I mean, I don't know. It may have just been my class, and maybe, the next one, he was like, well, didn't really spend a whole lot of time on that. Maybe I should put it up at the front. I don't really know. I'm just going off of how it was for me. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I wish that we would have spent a little bit more time on it. Because we spent a lot of time going over printers and laminate and things like that versus how much we should actually be charging people and how to do it.
Yeah, I think they should have a completely different class that you can take as far as like business management in the rap industry. I think that'd be a great class, and and honestly, I think a lot of people would take it. I would have taken it back then. To have some type of industry standard pricing. I know everybody's going to have their own, twist on it, different materials, different medias. And but if you put it in a generic form and make people understand, listen, we don't want to be below this because we don't want to devalue it. Those little things, at the end of the day, your internet bill, it doesn't pay for itself, so you have to factor that into your pricing, overhead, everything. So it's tough to oversee that and really narrow that down, because every area, given your area in Texas might be different than my area here in Boston. It's very, very different dynamics, very different market, everything. So who knows? Maybe 2018 might be the year, they do something like that. Who knows?
Hopefully. I mean, even if they extended it like another day, and if it was possible, I know that, all those guys are busy that put it on, or even maybe the first day extend it just an hour, even the extra hour to go over that stuff would be really helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's you have to know what you're selling, and definitely talking about, the different medias and how they all work and what proper media you'll need to do the wall as opposed to doing a floor, as opposed to doing the wrap on a vehicle. I mean, that's definitely, you need to know that, because you need to know what you're selling, and you need to know the proper material to use for that particular installation. But at the end of the day, all three of those medias are completely different prices. So, how do you price a wall wrap as opposed to a floor wrap? A price for a wall wrap as a van wrap. I mean, it's two different mediums, but one's definitely cheaper than the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and that's just it. Is like, I mean, he was pretty straight up with us, and he even told us, I make most of my money doing walls, windows, and floors, and we heard that, I mean, constantly, the same three, but we didn't really spend a whole lot of time on those.
Yeah.
Obviously you're going to learn to do the, vehicles, but, it's still good to learn a little bit of everything. And we didn't, like I said, I mean, we didn't really spend a whole lot of time. I think he wrapped a window while we were there, and we spent maybe 5 or 10 minutes on it. Yeah. It wasn't really long at all.
Yeah. It's quick. I mean, it's a flat surface, and if you're using, air release material, it's a no-brainer. You can make a ton of money wrapping windows. But a lot of people wrap windows with perf, so perf's a little bit harder. You don't have the air release technology. You don't have, the capability of lifting it up, putting it down, lifting it up too many times. I mean, you could, but you can't even stretch those little holes or it's going to distort it from the other side. But for the most part, it's not that bad. I've wrapped dealership windows, huge, with seams, not that bad. It's really not that bad. But I understand where he's making his money because you could do that in a day as opposed to wrapping a car in 2 days. I mean, you can make a tremendous amount of money. Yeah. So I get where he's coming from on that. But, some places you don't have that market. You get really hot weather in the summertime. There's no way you're going to be out there wrapping. It's going to be like holding a wet noodle out there. You know what I mean? Like, it does not make sense.
And it's not even the heat. It's the humidity.
Yeah.
That's the worst. The very first truck that I wrapped, it was a nightmare. And it was so hot that the material was just stretching so much on its own that it was overstretching. And I would come in the next day and all the edges would be lifting, and it was a really bad experience.
Yeah, proper temperature in your shop is highly, highly recommended. I mean, that's very important for a good installer. I think that the prime...
I learned that really quick.
Yeah, I think the prime temperature is supposed to be like 72 is like a pretty good warm to cold ratio. That's not that bad. And if you get central AC, that's definitely huge. I'd rather wrap in a cooler temp. I mean, you're going to have to squeegee a little bit harder or use a little bit more heat, but I take that over a really scorcher of a day. You know what I mean?
It's pretty bad during the summer because I know, well, I mean, we were in the Muto shop in Arizona, but it was about 75 in there. I think almost 80. But it wasn't too bad, but it's also not that humid up there. So I was able to walk around, Tempe without breaking a sweat. So that was nice.
Cool.
And it was like, I think it was like 110. You hit like 86 down here and you're already sweating your ass off.
So basically you guys got similar, weather patterns as Arizona. So basically my winters are like your summers. Like you're basically busy now or should be busy now, but come summertime, nobody really wants to leave the house, huh?
Yeah, I've noticed that between July and October is pretty slow, and when you coming into the winter and the new year is when I get a lot busier. But it also may be because everybody knows they're going to get their taxes in pretty soon. So
yeah, that too.
I haven't figured it out yet.
There you go.
Yeah, and I'll probably that's the goal, is to get a shop that I can control everything, because not having that right now, especially in the summer, is pretty tough.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Using or borrowing a shop once in a while. Being mobile is hard.
Yeah, and then like start sweating all over the material, and it just gets nasty.
All right, so let's talk about some of your wrap projects you have going on. You sent me a few pictures the other day. We're working on some stuff together.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Camaro, dude. That Camaro looks sick. I mean,
which one?
It's the ultimate color. It's the color of 2017.
Of course it is.
What was the color of 2017? Psychedelic.
Psychedelic Slim.
Oh, man. Man, I can tell you the photographs look unbelievable. I mean, you as a photographer, unbelievable work, man. The photos you sent over to me look awesome.
Yeah, I think the one that I'm most was ever excited for was the big blue dually that I sent you. But the Camaro, I did 2 of them. The first one that I did was real, man. It was such a shit show trying to get that color, because it was when it first came out.
Yeah. And
it was on back order for a month, and then a month turned into 2 months, 2 months turned into 3, and it was just on and on and on. And then
where was it from?
I went on. Well, I got it. I was trying to get it from Fellers.
Yeah.
and the back order status went away when I was actually on my way to Florida because I was planning my proposal for Florida.
There
And
you go.
so the week we were leaving, I was on my way, and I hadn't even got out of Texas yet. And I stopped, and I was like, well, let me just see what's going on. And so I got on Fellers, and I checked, and the back order status was gone. And I was like, oh, shit, okay, let me get it. So I ordered it, and then I think that Monday was a holiday. So I didn't hear from Fellers until Tuesday, and they're like, yeah, we're still back ordered on that. And they ended up trying to refund my money. And so I called them back, and I told them, well, this is what's going on. Can you guys just hang on to it in case you guys like get it tomorrow and you can just ship it to me? Because that was the problem, was even my rep was telling me, well, we don't really know when we're going to get it, but we're supposed to get shipments really soon. I can't tell you a date. And so I ended up calling Fellers back, and they're like, oh yeah, we have a full roll that's in where was it?
Probably
it was way up north.
New York. New York's got everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was up there. And so I called, and I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. I was like, y'all just refunded my money, and you won't let me order it again? Because I'm not going to drop another $800 or $900 on it. Like,
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And they ended up shipping it to the warehouse, and I was able to pick it up. But yeah, it was such a difficult time trying to get that. And the owner of the car was like, do you know when we're going to be able to do it? And it was a huge shit show for that color. But once we got it, man, it was just beautiful, beautiful color.
That's awesome.
And I ended up doing the second Camaro, and obviously it was a lot easier to get this time. But I actually tried to get him to do a different color, because I was like, well, down here there's already two cars that already have that color. You sure you don't want to do anything different? He's like, nah, that's the color. Let's do it. All right, cool, whatever. So yeah, we got two of those down here, but I try and get people to stray away from it if they inquire about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's 2018. There's definitely a new color coming
Yeah.
out. We'll have to see, mid-year or towards the end, what the 2018 color is going to be.
Satin Ghost Flip is getting pretty popular.
Yeah, I see a lot of raps on Instagram with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's picking up.
Yeah, definitely. Take me through the process of rapping, because you are still so new, still learning the techniques, how to apply it, taking things apart, things like that. Tell me what you thought when you were rapping the Camaro.
The first one that I did was I didn't feel overwhelmed. I feel nervous. Just kind of looking at it, especially the front bumper on those things. I was really, really nervous about it. But I try and take off and disassemble as much as I can. Door handles, mirrors, lights, if I can. It really, really just depends on the vehicle. But I had a lot of fun with it. I think for me, the dually was the hardest by far, just because of the bed sides.
Yeah, the stretch over the wheels.
Yeah, that had me really, really overwhelmed. That one was pretty tough. And I don't know what it is about that guy's trucks, because that was the second one that I had of his, but something always goes wrong with it. And just I don't know if his vehicles are just bad jujus, but I don't know. But I ended up, I loved the way that it came out. We did a lot of work on it, and we had that thing from stop to wrap to lifted and everything. He had everything done within a month, so it was really cool. That's really the only one that's had me overwhelmed so far. But I'm sure that once I get more in them, things are gonna change. Especially once we start getting into chromes and stuff.
Yeah, chrome's a tough one. Chrome is definitely going to be a tough install. I know I talked to Nate from Innovative, and his first job was his own truck in chrome, which Skeppel had, provided him custom graphics. He printed it on the chrome and put it on for his first job for himself. And,
Yeah,
you know,
I saw that one.
yeah, it's super cool design, nice. And, you know, he doesn't sugarcoat it. He's like, yeah, there's flaws in it. I mean, I'm not going to lie, which is great. And in any rap, there's going to be flaws. You just have to figure out
Oh
how
yeah,
you can fix the flaw and make it not look like a flaw.
right,
You know what I mean? That's the name of the
right.
game. No, nobody's going to be 100% no matter what. It's just
Nah,
how easy are you able to fix it without re-wrapping it? You know what I mean? So,
right,
but I do
right.
like I
And that
like the
was like,
dually. I like the map, the black accents on there with the door handles in black. I mean, it's a super sharp truck.
yeah, we worked on that thing quite a bit because when he got it, the whole front end was chrome,
Mm-hmm.
except for the bumpers because Chevy they already come paint matched, at least on the high countries. But the headlight covers were chrome and the grill was chrome. We were actually running out of time because we were trying to get it ready for Lone Star Throwdown. So I actually had my dad's shop paint the grill, and then I wrapped the headlight covers black. So we blacked out most of the chrome, and he had chrome in the wheels with the caps. So we left the mirrors chrome to kind of offset it a little bit.
Yeah, it
But
doesn't look bad.
yeah, man, even with that, dude, it was a brand new truck off the floor. And the paint, there was a huge just glob of paint that ripped off the truck when I went to go lift up the vinyl, and I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out, but I was able to place it in the exact same spot, so you couldn't even tell,
Oh my
and it
god!
worked out perfectly. But it scared the shit out of me.
On brand new paint, huh? Just ripped right out.
Brand new, dude.
Ugh,
It was
that's.
horrible. I was freaking out.
I believe it. I bet you a heart fell out of your chest.
Oh my god. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever felt.
You would definitely expect that from like a year or two car because typically, you know, I knock on wood. This has never happened to me, but I always ask people, has this car ever been painted? You know, since you've had it, has it ever been painted? Nope, nope, nope. And then, you know, you get that weird nightmare story. You go to put vinyl on and something just doesn't jive, and you go to, you know, pop it back up. Boom. Yep. Here comes clear coat. Here comes paint.
And that's what happened to my truck because, you know, when you take the Avery classes, you get to pick out a roll of color change. And so I picked out a color for my truck, and so I went to wrap right before I went to wrap it. I go to my dad's shop a lot, and his prepper was just looking at my truck. I can't remember why, and he was like, "Hey, who painted your bedside?" I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, I bought the truck like this." And he was like, "Yeah, but I can tell that your bedside's been repainted." And I was like, "How can you tell?" He's like, "Well, the clear job is shitty." And I was like, "Oh, well, I didn't know that." And so I went to go wrap my truck, and I ended up ripping it off because I thought I was going to get rid of it, and a whole bunch of clear came off my bedside.
Unbelievable.
And it was that bedside he pointed out in the exact same spots that he pointed at and said, "Yeah, this is shit, this is shit, this is shit."
Wow, imagine that. But this is why it's very important as a rapper to have a worksheet, you know, printed out, whether you custom make one or get one online, and go through the car with the client on a nice day outside and just look at it. And if you see trouble, circle it, have them sign it, you know, and have that waiver, especially with color changes, have that waiver. Because the color changes, I mean, yes, it'll last, you know, 4, 5, 6 years, you know, or until, you know, they start showing wear and tear. But generally, people are changing those color changes 2, 3, maybe 4 years. And if they like your work, they're gonna come back. So they'll have you remove it, put a new one on, whatnot. Have record of it. If something was to happen, you know, your ass is covered. It's very important. That's the type of stuff they don't really teach you. It's like you learn by your mistakes, but definitely having a worksheet and going through the car. And if you just see something, just circle it, have them sign off on it. Just even if it's nothing.
Yeah.
Just do it, just to cover you, because there's nothing worse than having someone have the car detailed and they want to take it off, and the details taking it off and it rips the paint. They're gonna come back at you. Oh, my paint came off. It's all your fault. Here's the bill. You know what I mean? You don't really have a leg to stand on if you never noticed it or had them sign off on it. So big word of advice.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna start. I'll have to start doing that. It was cool with Julie though, because I did his first truck, and after that, we actually became really good friends. And so when I told him that happened, it wasn't really a big deal, and he understood. And that's one thing I learned is, being honest with your clients, and not trying to beat around the bush, and telling them what's going on. They'll definitely appreciate that more than just oh well, I didn't know that happened, or I wasn't paying attention, or this or that and the other. And I did have an experience with that with a different Camaro. I did a deep space wrap on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to pull the emblem off the back bumper, and a chunk of paint came off with it.
Mm.
And it didn't come off with the emblem; it came off with the adhesive. And I mean, I was just super lightly taking that adhesive off. I wasn't being rough with it, and I just called him up, let him know, hey man, this is what's going on. I can still wrap over it if you want. You're gonna notice it, or I can stick the emblem back in the same spot, and it'll kind of hide it.
Mm.
And he's like, man, he's like, thanks for letting me know. But it's cool. Just throw the emblem on. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those emblems are tough too, because they put those on straight from the factory. So that car's already been just like already painted. They're just slapping it on. And that 3M adhesive's a lot better now than it was back then. I mean, you can use a heat gun and some fishing wire, and you can get that sucker, off pretty clean. Now you got a lot of the glue residue left over. What did you use to take off the glue residue? Did you use what is that brand called? The cleaner there that removes adhesive. Kind of smells like oranges. I know everybody always tells me, they're like, "Oh, it smells like oranges in here," and it's the cleaner. Yeah, don't smell that too hard. You might get out of here not feeling too good. But
it depends on the car. If I know that the paint's good, I'll typically go with an eraser wheel.
Yeah.
I've gotten really good with it, especially because the one that I use the one with the drill, because it's obviously mobile.
Right.
The shop that I wrap at, it has if it's got air, I'll use the one that hooks up to the compressor, and go with that one because it's a little bit more powerful, and it's a lot quicker. So I usually go with an eraser wheel, but other than that, depending on how bad it is, I know 3M has a adhesive remover that works really well.
Yeah, and for everybody listening, it's Rapid Tack. I don't even know why I forgot that. I use that all the time.
Rapid Tack, yeah.
Rapid Tack. That works really good.
I used to have some, and I ran out. But the 3M adhesive remover does work pretty well. But other than that, if it's like on the door or the front panel, which usually they're on, I'll go with the eraser wheel.
Yeah, that's always safe too. You know what I mean? Put it on low, just gets it off nice and clean. I just don't like how it makes a little bit of a mess sometimes. It's a little hard to. It's almost harder to get that off does. Sometimes. Depends on where you do the location.
I've had some adhesive pop up and hit me on the cheek. Oh my god, that thing was on fire because it's like it melts it off. So that hurt. But yeah, it does make a mess, and you end up, if you've already cleaned down the vehicle a little bit, well, you're just gonna end up cleaning it again.
Yeah, it's double duty when you're using the eraser wheel. I usually just what I usually do if it's like an emblem, and I mean sometimes you can get the glue off pretty good. It depends on how hot you get it. But if it leaves a lot of that stuff, a lot of the glue from the emblem left on the car, I usually just soak the paper towel and just like press it up against it and just leave it so it just soaks it up. That's just a little trick I do, but.
Yeah, when I did the dually, it was tough because it was brand new, so that adhesive was like fresh.
Right. And
it has, the Chevys have that whole, it has the chrome strip that goes over both doors.
So you removed that too,
man,
huh?
I got the eraser wheel and I just went to town.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a
tried,
better choice.
Yeah, and I wanted to try and be careful, as careful as I could. So I tried to go, adhesive remover and try and peel it off by hand just to kind of preserve the paint, but it just wasn't happening.
Yeah. How were your fingers after that?
Oh, they were hurting so bad.
Oh my God.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find an eraser wheel. I went and found one, and I had all that stuff off quick.
Yeah, it's a lot easier install. A little bit more of cleanup, but it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Tell me on the Camaro too, right? To go back on the Camaro, how you piece any pieces in on the bumpers or anything like that, or you try to do everything one piece? Because that's tough to do as a solo installer, especially being so fresh.
It really is. I did pretty much everything in a single piece.
Yeah.
I did see a Camaro today on Instagram that's probably going to change how I do the installs a little bit, and something that I learned on the Deep Space Camaro that I did. The front bumper, I saw a one, and there was an overlap at the top of the bumper where it has that curve near the headlight.
Yeah, it's kind of like the flat piece underneath the taillight.
Sometimes right above it.
Right above it,
off, like going to the side of the bumper.
Okay.
I'm trying to get that in one piece.
Yeah.
But man, it's a little tough doing it by myself.
Yeah.
And having to heat and pull and heat and pull and heat and pull. So if I start to spend a little too much time, I'll do two pieces, and then I know that on the bottom like dead center at the bottom, it has that recessed area.
Yeah.
And I ended up I wrapped that, and I did it on the Deep Space Camaro, but he also had a matte black hood. And I was looking at one of the pictures that I took of it, and I shot him a text after he had took it home. And I said, "Hey man, I'd really like to see that piece matte black, because I think it would look really good with the hood and the other matte black pieces you have." So I went to his house and I ripped that middle piece out and I put a matte black strip. So that's probably what I'll start doing, is just throwing an accent piece right there just to make it a little bit quicker.
Yeah. And it looks clean.
And not have to worry about it. And then I know you follow Nightmare.
Who was it?
He's got that Nightmare ZL1 on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
He's got, I was looking at his trunk, and the bottom of the trunk lid it has a matte black strip, and I was like, man, that could save a lot of time.
Yeah, little accent pieces where you almost make it not look like an afterthought. It looks like it's like built in. Can help.
Yeah,
save time.
And he's got it's matte black, and then he's got the decal that says Nightmare on it. And I was just thinking, like, something that small would save a lot of time. So I might start incorporating that depending on what accent pieces the vehicle already has. Like, I know that the first Camaro that I did, we left the door handles and the mirrors black.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it would have looked cool if I would have done that on his. He ended up getting a ZL1 bumper, so I ended up wrapping a whole new bumper for him, and he just threw that on there just recently.
Damn.
But now that I...
Two on the back, are you saying you're going to do an inlay, a matte black or something? That'd be a good little area to do an embossed logo or something.
Yeah.
Underneath. That'd look hot.
Yeah, that's regrets, but
hey,
it's for the next time.
Yeah, learning curve. You know what I mean? Yeah, as you start recognizing the body lines of the car, things will get quicker. And it's not even, to put another panel there. It's just install wise. You'll know as soon as because you must have had a hell of a time wrapping, the back quarter panel, because that back quarter panel isn't flat. I mean, it's almost like a shelf. You know what I mean? To wrap that up and over the wheel. Yeah, that's a tough install.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's the only part of the Camaros that takes me the longest is that one area right there. It's hard. It's tough.
Definitely.
And that's the whole reason of, going this year to do as much as I can, training and learning wise, is to speed up that process and get it clean and avoid those long install times with pieces like that.
I know we were talking a little bit off air here, but let everybody know what text message you just got before we came on.
It's not as bad as I thought it was.
Oh, why? Did he send you pictures?
No, he didn't send me pictures, but yeah, I got a text from him. He's like, he actually called me while me and you were doing tests, and I ignored it. And he texted me. He's like, "Fuck, bro, I need you to answer the phone like right now." And I'm like, "I can't. I'm busy. What's going on?" And he's like, "I just fucking wrecked my car." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me! Like, I'm so busy over the next couple of weeks. I don't have time for your car." He's like, "Oh, well, when's the earliest you can get it in? Because I can pay you on Friday." And I'm like, "Dude, I can't get you until like beginning of February." He's like, "Bro, you're fucking with me." I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like, you don't understand. I'm really busy." And he's like, "It's not even going to take that much time." But it's just the top piece of his bumper. So it's just that overlay piece that I did. But I mean, still order a lot of material for that anyway, so I'll probably try and get the bumper in one piece this whole time around. Yeah, I'm really excited for all the content that you're gonna start pushing out, man, because it's really helpful. I've learned a lot from just the few people that you've had. So doing this is awesome, and guys like me really appreciate it more than you know.
Yeah, no, I love hearing stories of people, talking about how, they learned something new, or business wise, they learned something just from listening. Podcasts, I mean, they're starting to get a little bit longer, talking a little bit more about different stuff, and really getting passionate about what we do, and really diving in deep into conversations. And I love that people can take that and work with it and relate to it and use it in their day-to-day stuff. I just love it. And it's not only just talking to the big guys. I love talking to the smaller guys, because at some point, I was a small guy, and I really didn't have much to look up to back in the day. I mean, there was only YouTube videos, and there weren't even that much back then.
Yeah.
And a little bit online stuff. You know what I mean? The technology now is just so different, and there's so many different platforms that you can go to and look in forums now, with the Rap Society, and everything like that. It's just great stuff that's out there, and take advantage of it. You don't pay nothing.
Oh yeah.
The podcast is free. Go subscribe, like, share it with friends. I mean, people love listening. I mean, there's nothing wrong with listening. Videos are cool. You can actually see something going on. Just don't get caught up in the wrong videos. You know what I mean? Wrong information. Be aware there are people out there, giving out bad information. You don't want to be watching those. But yeah, it was a whole reason why I started this, was to kind of broaden, the reach of the industry. Let people know, let everybody know. Anybody can hear this, whether you're overseas, in London, or you're in Texas. Either way, you're able to access it.
Yeah.
Taking a flight, you can download it and then listen to it later. It's the ease of this platform is huge. I love it.
Yeah, but it's also really cool to see where other people have come from and share like their experiences with everything. Because I mean, there's times where I'm installing, or there's times where I'm just like sitting there thinking about it, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? And then you go and listen to the podcast, and you kind of hear of other people's struggles and how they kind of got into it and are handling everything. And it's like, okay, gonna put that in the back of my head and keep going. So it's nice to see that you're not the only one that's gone through the shit that you're going through.
Yeah, it's motivation, dude. It's what it's all about. Everybody just needs someone to get motivated, and then that just sparks somebody else to get motivated, and it just trickles down.
Yeah, and I know, like, I've told you to I don't know if you've listened to it yet, but I really recommend. There's another podcast. It doesn't have anything to do with reps, but if you're down in the dumps or you just kind of don't really know what to do business wise, there's a guy. His name's Andy Frisella, and his is the MFCEO, and it's a great podcast, man. You can really take what he says and kind of really apply it to anything.
I listened to it yesterday on my ride home. Yesterday, by the way, and I know I've been telling you I was going to listen to it, and I haven't. And yesterday I had a chance to listen to it. He actually had a good guy that I follow on Instagram too, Gary V. Big talker, man. That guy, you want to get motivated, that guy will put you from 0 to 100 in seconds.
Yeah,
very smart guy.
Yeah, they all are, and that's what's great is if you're down in the dumps, I mean, put him on, and you're gonna get hyped and be like, all right, I'm gonna go fucking demolish this car. Not demolish it, but bash the shit out of it. And there's another guy too. His name's Ed Milet, and same thing, man. Down in the dumps, can't figure out what to do. Great content, great stuff. Definitely helped me when I'm trying to figure out stuff on how to kind of take my stuff to the next level, and figuring out what to do and how I'm going to kind of get ahead, and what my next plan is, and listening to those guys definitely helps me out. But also listening to the guys that you have on here, it's a really, really big eye opener, and it's a huge help, more than a lot of people even realize.
Good. And then that's what it's all about. I'm glad I'm helping people. I've told a couple people this. If this is all funded by me, I built the website with my own money. I built, bought my hosting for the web podcast on my own, social media, trying to build it up. I've told so many people, if I'm doing this for fun, I love talking to people. I've always been a big supporter of local shops near me. I'd walk in and be like, hey, what's up? I'm from so-and-so shop. Just want to come by, say hi, introduce myself. How you guys doing? How's your business? Blah, 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 blah. Never to steal clients, never to badmouth anybody. I just want to network with everybody because, God forbid, I needed a helping hand, or God forbid my machine went down and they had one. I could walk in there and they'd be like, oh my God, that's that kid that came in and he needs help. Let's help him. You know what I mean? Or motivate one person to do something great. You know what? I'm fine with that. That's my job is done. With the reach, with the podcast, I mean, I think we're probably getting close to like 2,000 downloads between the last 8 episodes since November.
That's awesome.
It's small numbers, but out of 2,000 people listening to it or re-listening to it, there's a good message there, and there's people downloading it for a reason. Yeah. And I love that. I love that I'm helping out the industry in this way, different from doing some type of video or tutorial how to rap. I just want to talk to people, man. I just I want to get that heartfelt, like, how did you start? Like, I want to hear, I started in my garage 20 years ago cutting vinyl, and look at me now. I've got a huge warehouse, nice shop, great clients, and it all because I was cutting vinyl in my garage. You know what I mean? I love those types of stories.
Yeah, but that's what's so awesome, man, is like everybody, I didn't realize how like together this industry was until I started listening to the podcast, because you have, some of your guests are talking about, well, yeah, like I had this shop down the road and I have that shop down the road. And like you were telling me too, like, you had another shop down the road from you, and, y'all would joke about, things and, help each other out. And that's really, really badass, because I've never experienced that. And like coming from, photography, videography background, it's like everybody's out to get one another. Everybody's out to outbid each other, and it's not, there's no friendly competition. And to hear like, everybody say, well, yeah, like we're going to teach this person how to do this, and we're going to help that person how to do that, because there's enough work for, to go around. It's really cool. I wish we had a little bit more of that down here, but unfortunately some people aren't like that.
Yeah, well, you weed them out. You know what I mean? You build a network of people.
Yeah.
It seems like you got that guy that can print and do all that stuff. Seems nice enough to help you out with printing. And who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Hey, you want to come work with me full time, lettering, setting up signs or whatever the case may be," and then you're full blown right in the industry. You know what I mean? Just get more
Yeah.
knowledge, learn
And
a little bit more.
Yeah, and we try and take care of, or I try and take care of. Well, I guess it would be we because my fiance helps me out a lot. But we try and take care of everybody that we work with, including him. I don't know. Do you know what Top Golf is? Do they even have that up there?
Top Golf?
Yeah.
Like a golfing place?
Yeah. No, y'all don't have that.
Nah, we have like little outside golfing ranges and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well, it's like it's like indoor outdoor. It's a driving range, but
Okay.
it's all lit up and they have drinks and food and a bar. It's pretty badass. But we take our clients out there after an install as often as we can.
Really?
Just as a thank you. I mean, it's I'm small. I don't have my own place, and you trusted me to work on your car, and we really appreciate that. So you have time and we have time either that weekend or the weekend after or whenever. We try to set a day with you, and well, not a day but an evening, and we'll take you out to Top Golf, play a round or two of golf, and buy you drinks, get you some food. Another thing we do is I got some custom little thank you cards that just pretty much say really appreciate you trusting me, and it was had a lot of fun working on it, and throw a little thank you card in the car. And then I also try, sometimes I don't get around to it just because of how busy I am, especially working full time and everything, but I'll get like those little Rambler cups, those 30-ounce Rambler cups.
Yeah.
And I'll take some of the scrap and I'll wrap the cup to match and throw it in their vehicle. That way when they pick it up, they got something there. I don't always get around to it. Just depends on when I finish the car. But if I have time, I do my best to make it to that. But, if they don't get the cup, well, they get Top Golf and a couple of drinks. So
nothing wrong with that. I'm going to get my car wrapped down there. Let me know. Right. You can take me out to eat. You know what I mean? Right. Damn, but you know what? It's the little things. I mean, business-wise, you're looking at it in a completely different manner and not, I mean, obviously financially, yes, you want to get paid. But at the end of the day, it's those little tiny things that they'll recommend to another friend or just really take that to heart. Yeah. And it's more personal than it is like, hey, I just paid you $3,000 to wrap my car or whatever. And, here's my check and thanks for wrapping my car. See you later. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's something that they'll look back on and be like, wow, he really took the time to make these and create them and make it more personal than it is more of a business transaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what we try and do. Cause I really want them, that's what I want is I want them to bring people to me, and that's, taking care of them is the best way to do it. I've always believed in taking care of the customer as best as I can. And after a while, it just it seemed like a lot. And then, after, like I said, those other podcasts, My Light for Seller, I just kind of solidified that, worry about, take care of them and worry about them more than you worry about yourself, and take care of yourself because, think long-term with your client instead of short-term. And so that's, we want to take care of them. And I've gotten a lot of referrals, from the cars that I have done, and whether they get their car wrapped or not, I mean, it's not a big deal, but they know who I am. And, I had a good thing said about me. So at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. I've had I've had some repeat customers, and, that's why, because I take care of them and I don't just look at them as another car that's in and out.
Right. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. What you put out is what you get back, and you put good vibes and good karma out there, you're bound to get good karma back. Might not be, might not be like tomorrow, but when you're really down, you're gonna get that nice phone call to get that one job that you really wanted, and things work out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't get down because you didn't get a job. there's a ton of jobs out there. You know, just gotta, maybe deliver it a little differently or whatever the case may be. But I think you're doing a great job, dude. I love your work. I hope that you really stick to it and really build up your clientele to where you can finally own your shop and get out of being mobile, because it is tough to be mobile and working full time and rapping on the weekends and whatnot. It takes a toll on you a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely does, especially like when it bleeds into the week. I'm working 9 to 7 and then working from 7:30 to God knows when, trying to finish up a car. But looking forward to some bigger things this year. I teamed up with my brother who does detailing, and so he can do the ceramic coating. So that's one thing that we're going to be offering this year, and really want to start getting into PPF. The Expel, their stuff is actually down here. Their office is probably like 20 minutes from me.
Yeah.
So really want to get into the PPF, because I can do that with my brother because he details. He gets a lot of inquiries about it, but don't really know of a lot of people down here that install that stuff. So
yeah, maybe
that's one of the goals.
Maybe get into business with your brother. Open up a bigger shop.
Yeah.
Split the rent.
Yeah, that's what we're actually looking into a building right now. We're trying to get as many details as we can, but that's the goal, is to probably get into a shop together and see how things turn out. Another thing we're probably going to push a lot this year that we've had when we started, but we haven't really pushed it a whole lot. But what I'll do is I'll usually, the first Camaro I did has actually met this, but I don't know if he is or ever going to want to get rid of that psychedelic color. But if you wrap your car and you get 2 other friends to wrap their cars, your next install, and you just pay material, I'll wrap it, on the house.
You hearing that? It's going to be recorded. It's going to be recorded, and a lot of people are going to hear that.
Hey, that's fine with me. That's fine. That's taking care of my people, and
that's awesome.
It's it is what it is, because at the end of the day, who else is doing that?
Appreciation, man. Appreciation, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a cool. I'm gonna do something kind of similar, but I think when I reach like 1,000 followers, and everybody listening, tag a couple people in the industry, man. Get to 1,000 followers, I'm gonna be giving out a nice giveaway box of goodies. So, don't know really what I'm gonna give away. Probably a lot of tools, maybe some clothing. Who knows? But I'm prepping for that now, because I think I just reached just over 500 today, so we're getting there. Another 500 to go, and we're gonna do a giveaway.
And man, there's I mean, you wouldn't think it, but there's like there's a little bit of a science behind getting more followers and getting more likes on your stuff, at least the right way. We kind of figured it out a little early on, but it's crazy the way social media works.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a science to it, but you don't want to have those bot followers either, and you don't want to have those people that you're scrolling through their followers and they've got one post or no posts, and I mean, it is what it is. I won't get it. That's a whole nother episode of All Wrapped Up to talk about, but
right.
But yeah, I mean,
one episode just to that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a couple hours. But I mean, I've got some great people behind me. A lot of the people that follow me are solid. You know what I mean? So, I'm grateful for the people that follow me. I'm grateful for the people listening, and sharing. Yeah, just subscribe, like, share, everything.
I've already done that multiple times, so I think I'm good.
Yeah, perfect. Now you're on the show. You do a little bit more of that for your episode.
Exactly. Oh yeah. No, I really enjoy it, man. I've been counting down the days for this, so I've been really excited. But I'm excited for all the episodes that get pumped out.
Well, soon it's probably going to get bumped up. We're probably going to try to do 2 a week now. I think we got a lot of guests on this month. On top of the 4.
Yeah.
On top of the 4 guests we have coming up. We're talking to Lettersmith KC tomorrow. On the what date is it? The 9th. We're talking to them tomorrow. We're actually gonna have 3 people on tomorrow. From that company.
I'm really excited for Kevin's podcast because he did the live broadcast on Instagram when he was rapping that juke.
Yeah,
and I got I was at work and I got nothing done because I was so fixated on him rapping that thing the entire day.
Him and Tate did a double up. Like Tate was rapping an Explorer on the bottom, and then Kevin was rapping the Juke.
I broke my neck trying to watch that thing.
Oh my god, it's so cool! It's just so cool how just 2 guys, man, 2 completely different states, are just rapping and just shooting the shit. It's like you could not do that anywhere else. You could not do that, 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Just think about the technology, man. Like the power of social media is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. But Tate needs a tripod for his phone because everybody was breaking their neck watching that thing. So if I need to send you one, I have plenty. I'll send you one.
There you go, Tate. You better be hearing. You better be hearing this. You're gonna get a free tripod out of it.
The live one you're doing with Chuck, man, I'm excited for that one too.
Yeah,
that's gonna be really cool.
That's coming up on Wednesday. It's gonna be good stuff, man. We're gonna be laughing a lot, man. I talked since the podcast with Chuck. I think we probably talk a couple times a week, but we text every day almost.
Yeah,
he's such a good guy, man.
Well, good. Now I know that I'm not. I felt like I've been bugging you, but now.
Nah, man. Yeah. Nah, definitely not. I mean, just remember the time change when you text me at 10 o'clock. It's really 11 at my place.
Yeah,
but it's all good.
I look at the time and I'm like, oh shit.
It's all good, man. I'm trying to hook you up with some great people. I know Dan's waiting to call you back for some training stuff.
Yeah, Dan, if you're listening to this, I'm waiting, buddy.
Yeah, no, he's gonna hook you up big time.
That's a huge help is having somebody like that who can help me network, because it's completely different. I mean, I can network all day and night, doing photography and stuff. But I talked to so many people that were around the country, guys that I could call on the fly if I was on a shoot and was having trouble with something, call a dude up in New York. Hey man, I'm having some problems. What can you give me? Boom, get it done. And it's not something that I've been able to figure out as far as the rapping industry goes. And
man, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what a DM does for you. You know what I mean? Or a quick little email.
But it's been a little bit different because I felt like, well, they're probably busy or they don't want to tell me, how to do this or how to do that. And like I said, like after listening to the podcast and realizing there's a lot of people in this industry that are willing to help others has made a huge, huge impact on my outlook on everything in general. And just having you, like you helping me out, you've helped me out a lot over the last couple of days. And it's been badass. It's something that's completely new to me. And it's a huge help to have somebody who's more or less readily available.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about, dude. Just helping out. I wish I could help out more throughout the day. Just not enough time, and not everybody's hitting me up. But when people text message me or send me an email, I try to respond, within a few hours, or at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Depends on what's going on, but that's what it's all about. I want to be a central hub where I can branch people off and be like, okay, you need what? All right, you need to talk to this person, or or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You have a problem. You don't know what tool to use. Go call Yellow Tool or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like there's something for everybody, and if I can help them get there faster, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's awesome. It's really cool to be part of something like that.
And like I said, don't be afraid, don't be intimidated, because then you never shine or you never fail and figure out, what you did wrong. If you just kind of
Right.
do what you do and never do wrong, you know what I mean? Then you never get better either. You know what I mean? I think Nate said something cool. Like he just went out and just started rapping at at the SEMA show or something. Like someone so fresh too, taking charge and letting the veterans look at him and be like, whoa, where'd this kid come from? You know what I mean? Opens up opportunity. Don't be sheltered.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think down here it's there's a few rap shops down here, but nobody really communicates. Nobody really kind of puts their foot out there to try and establish that connection. So either I might have to, or
why not start the trend?
That's the way it is. It just depends.
Yeah. Start the trend. Reach out. What is that? Extend your branch. You know what I mean? And let people know that you're here too. They might not be of value to you at some point, whether it's like a print shop or something like that you don't need prints from, or whatever the case may be. But to them, you might be of value to them. You know what I mean? And be like, hey, I got a project. I don't know what's going on, and I saw on your Instagram you had done something. You mind coming out and help? You know what I mean? Who knows? All it takes is that one little introduction.
Yeah, and that's what's been great about the print shop that I've become friends with, because just this last weekend, he called me up on Friday. He was like, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" Well, I got another install, but what's going on? Oh, well, I got to do this wrap on a tow truck, and he did some print stuff for me, and with me working full time and rapping, and then he's constantly at the shop. It's been hard for us to meet up, and I owed him some money, so he's like, "Well, instead of giving me the money, why don't you just come help me with this tow truck?" All right, that's cool.
There you
go.
Help
him out for a few hours, call it even. I'll still probably end up taking him out to dinner. I don't know if you guys have Texas Roadhouse up there, but
we do.
If not, you need to.
I haven't been there forever, man.
5 baskets of rolls.
Yeah, tell me about it. I always recommend, hey, don't bring one, bring 2, okay, lady? You already know that butter, cinnamon deliciousness in that little bucket, dude, is the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can't go wrong with it. And that's like, my fiance, sometimes she'll get annoyed because it's like they're just constantly bringing us bread, and she just looks at me like, when are you gonna stop? Like, I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah,
too good to stop.
You're not gonna eat your meat when the thing hits the table. Oh shit, I haven't been. Oh man, dude, this has been such a freaking pleasure talking to you, man. I love hearing your story. I love that you're getting in the industry. I love that you have a passion for the industry. Thank you so much for listening, dude. And I got your back. If you text me, with a problem, I got you. Everybody get training. This is exactly the reason why I built this podcast. Is you did training, you gave me your pros, you gave me your cons. Overall, they're all positive things.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it, and it could really increase your chances too of getting a job. My buddy who prints, we've been talking about certifications and going to trainings together, and he lost a fleet shop because he wasn't 3M certified.
Yeah, see, there you go. Then that's what you got to do is just get certified in something, whether it be Avery, 3M, Arlon, Oracle, whatever. Just get something. You know what I mean? It definitely helps your odds to get a job, and it just overall builds your technique, your craft. You need to be able to know what you're doing and know how to get yourself out of a jam if you are put in one, So I appreciate you.
Oh, I was going to say, I wouldn't have known where to start if I wouldn't have ever gone. Worth it, every penny.
Yeah, whatever the case may be, it definitely gets some type of training, especially being new to the industry. Do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to have a certification, or do they give you some type of cert or like some type of paper that says you attended the class? Do they give you that? I didn't even ask you that.
They give you a PDF, and you can print it out if you want.
Yeah, what is it, like a certificate of completion?
Yeah,
something like that?
It just says confirms that you completed, like mine was like the basic class. So it'll say like, congratulations, Sean Martinez, you completed the Avery Dennison basic training, blah, blah. But it's weird because they don't like send you yours. Like they just send out a mass email of everybody who attended the class and all the PDFs, and you just go choose yours. But it's worth it. I mean, I recommend it. You don't know what you're doing.
There you go, dude. Man, Sean, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, bro. You're so humbled, and
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I'm glad you're doing the right things. As minute as they might be, you're definitely heading in the right direction, brother. And I wish you well in your endeavors.
Thanks, thank you.
Yeah, anytime, bro. Let everybody know where they can find you, social media wise, or website.
We are on Instagram. Just Vantage, no A, no I. Vantage Vinyl Werx, WERX. That's Instagram. Website, still working on the website. Got a little bit of stuff on there. We're actually going to start doing. I'm going to actually get the the speed shapes, and start doing a little bit of product photos on those. Post them on the website so people can see all the different colors. But that's VantageVinylWerx.com, and right now that's all we got.
Definitely, yeah. Excuse me. I'll be able to. I'll put links and stuff on my website, on my show notes, to click on all his social media accounts to start following, man.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, brother, dude. Again, I wish you well, and I hope 2018 makes a good year for you, and you do a little bit more training and get better at that craft, brother.
Definitely, man. And thanks for having me on, and I really look forward to what the rest of the year brings you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. We'll talk again soon. Maybe we'll do a little
yes, sir.
A back to the podcast and see where you're at in 6 months.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm up for it.
Definitely. Sounds good, man. All right, brother. I will let you go because you need to go to Texas Roadhouse now, and I'm so jealous. But we'll talk soon, man. Have a great night, brother.
You too, buddy. Thanks, man.
I want to thank Sean for taking the time out today to come on the podcast to share his story. This episode is sponsored by The Wrap Promoter, featuring wraps, graphics, designs, and tools from around the world. To see more, follow at The Wrap Promoter on Instagram and Facebook. For features and advertising, email wrap.promoter@mail.com. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and on iHeartRadio. Till next time, that's a wrap.